Chairman, I'd like to pick up some of the themes that have been echoed by my colleagues, Mr Parker, Dr Clark and Mr Nash, because we're at the heart of the bill here. And Sir, I know that you know that the previous chairman guided the House to this part of the bill for the substantive part of the debate. This is where the meat of the Act is, and it's very, very important that we deal with it substantively. I want to turn in this particular call to the cash out provisions, which are contained in clauses 192, 213 and 217 in particular. And let us give context to the public as follows. There was a heated economic and political debate about how we tilt our economy towards more value added, how we get away from just being a commodity exporter of fairly unprocessed red meat or unprocessed logs or pretty unprocessed milk powders, and how we allow our economy to earn more value so we can pay higher incomes to New Zealanders. And inherent in that strategic transition is the need for doubling, if not tripling, the level of research and development investment in this country. Probably doubling the Crown's investment, but at least tripling the private sector contribution, which is derisory. It's in the bottom quarter of the OECD, and it's not improving. And a key reason for that is the structure of the tax system, which gives a real estate speculator a tax break and an innovator in a startup a tax penalty. And that's nonsense. It is so bad for our economy. Is it any wonder that today unemployment has reached 6% again and growth is no better than 2%? We are in trouble. We are not moving from the pathway to mediocrity at best that has characterised this economy. And actually it is in technical stuff like this bill, in these clauses, that we see the problem. The government's been too scared to take on the real estate speculators, money talks and national walks.
Order.
In this bill, sir, what they are trying to do is get the tax credit that Labor proposed and they cancelled by another means, but they've gone in such a roundabout route that it is so cumbersome, so detailed and so complex that start-up businesses probably won't be able to access it reliably. We're supporting the bill, sir, only because it's better than nothing, only because it's a timid step to what Labor proposed, but it's not good enough, sir. Here's the problem. For example, the cash out provision for R&D expenditure contained in clauses 192, 213, 217 and Schedule 1 is designed to provide a temporary tax flow relief to companies that are high in specific kinds of research and development. And then once they're over that tax flow, the cash flow crunch, they have to pay it back again. So it is, the first point is, under these clauses, it is very different from a proper tax credit, say 12.5% as we proposed, where the company gets to keep the tax remission and put it on their balance sheet because it is a legitimate recognition that there is a public interest as well as a private interest in that R&D. Yes, it helps the company, but it also helps the economy and the whole country, and it never works anywhere in the world that the innovator has to take all the risk because they cannot keep all the reward. That is why tax credit systems give a permanent remission, but this doesn't. This is only a cash loan. It's a timing change, and the company has to pay it back. That's the first problem. The second issue is that when you take this alongside the structure of the Callaghan Innovation Growth Grants, which are not available to companies that spend less than $300,000 a year on R&D or 1.5% of their revenue on R&D, and thus are not available to startups, and, sir, have mandatory non-discretionary disbursement criteria so that they are funding, Mr Chairman. Mr Chairman.
Honourable Nikki Wagner.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair. I'd just like to take